This is Observious bringing you guys another League of Legends commentary, and today I'm going to be bringing you guys another jungle Maokai game. Last game was a jungle Maokai. It didn't really work out so well, but nonetheless, after that game I launched to another game and I was like, alright, I'll be jungle Maokai again since we did need a tank. Alistar was banned, so was a Moo. Things led to other things, and this is what we ended up with. Now, I was a little bit sort of discouraged because we did have Kennen, we did have Orianna, and I was kind of thinking, well, I wanted an AoE-ish type tank, and while Maokai has the protective AoE, he's more of a single target type person. Now, you might be wondering, well, there was a Rammus in that last pick there, and to be honest, I'm pretty sure me and Rammus were the last picks. I do not believe Rammus was all alone in his last pick, but somehow I just didn't notice him until we got to the champ loading screen, or like after we had locked in. And so I was like, alright, I'll be Maokai. And that's why I'm the tree. Now, this is a little bit interesting. Rammus is going to go ahead and just immediately on loading start powerballing towards the bottom lane, so he's got something planned. I'm going to go ahead and start Wraiths as usual. I'm going to be going after a Warwick, and something to just remember about Warwick is he is nigh unstoppable in the jungle after the first few levels. So this is about the only time I'm going to get to mess with him. We're going to be having, Orianna and Kennen as our main damage, with Renekton, being our AD carry.
You collected all the bits of yourself.
That's kind of interesting. Never heard that bit from Renekton. And so Kennen's debating what to take. We go ahead and tell him to take boots and pots, because he was debating taking Dorn Shields or boots and pots. And so since we're expecting them to take Singed, and by the way, he's taking Clairvoyance, and that's very not usual. Normally Tarek takes, or the support should say, takes CV. But instead he's going to take Clarity, which is okay. And in this game you can see that my W is messing up. I go ahead and say Och Blue. And I've got my W key mostly fixed. So I'm going to go ahead and talk about that in the chat for those who are reading it and keeping up with the random dialogue in that little corner. But I'm going to be interested in seeing just Kennen in general. I think this might have been at the start of the Kennen discount week, so he possibly is new to Kennen. I don't know yet. You can see that I did just go ahead and get all the wraiths in one go. For anyone who's been keeping up with the series, they just die instantly with one auto attack the blue wraith, and I'm already going to go ahead and get that really fast level 2. So woohoo, got that out of the way. Going to be heading off towards blue. I don't know why, but for some reason I don't like ganking whatever lane I am, which if I was on blue team it would be bottom lane. I'd rather go after the jungler. I don't know if that's the right thing to do. It's, not guaranteed that they're going to be there, especially without CV. But for the moment, people are reliable. And oh no, first blood was taken by Renekton on the bottom lane. And meanwhile over here, I go ahead and go after Warwick, and he's going to go ahead and get away. And so, that little wolf's attacking me, so I'm going to try to get them to bug off. And that's going to be that. A little bit interesting that the heal lane, he is level 1, I guess, I'm not certain. Pretty sure he's level 1 still. I guess he took stun first and it didn't work out too well. And Renekton's just overall doing pretty well. I'm just really surprised there because Vayne is a melee, is a ranged, with that support, taking stun and heal versus 2 melees. I don't know. Rammus, of course, being really annoying with the Powerball burst and taunt, since they are apparently level 2. And Tarek's stun going to hit Renekton, and so he's going to hit a tower shot, and that's going to be a hurt Renekton. But things should be okay over there. Malzahar, of course, doing what he does best, and that is push lanes. I am going to be donating the next blue buff after I hit level 3 or 4. That's just what I do. I never get blue buff since I take that aggressive route over here on Maokai, unless I have to. So that's a little bit interesting that he's blue dependent, I'd normally just get like another Doran's ring and a chalice or something. Or just Doran's ring some sort of item after boots, like say Heart of Gold, and then chalice, and that seems to work because the extra MR is good, especially on this game where they have a Singed and a Malzahar and a Warwick, I guess, and a Tarek, I suppose, for what little damage he does, although I guess his ultimate says I should get armor. And I'm still getting used to the whole Warwick idea of him doing magic damage, but it's true, he does do a lot of magic damage, especially when he rushes a Blood Razor. Meanwhile, Warwick, stealing my blue, gets caught by Renekton, and so they're duking it out. Warwick's using a health potion, and he does get extra health on consecutive attacks, and nope, he didn't even take my blue. He just was poking around, trying to find me, so he's going to go ahead and get the kill on Renekton before dying himself from Rammus Orianna being a second or so too late. Malzahar wanting to get in on the action, but then deciding to get back to lane. So we'll see exactly how all that goes. I'm going to go and go, and offer to donate the blue, trying to see who got it. Rammus did get that blue, making sense there. And so I'm going to go ahead and give Orianna that blue buff, and that's just going to be able to make her more of a terror in lane. And luckily, she went along with this, as I've had several ranked games. I don't know if I've uploaded any yet, you know, if it was before this series, where I'll do this, and they'll just stay in lane, even though I'll ping the blue buff and ping the mid, and, you know, say, hey, blue, do you want blue buff? And they won't reply. And so either, I think once or twice I've died that way, or I'll have to take it, but I'll be low, and I'll either be forced back or waste too many potions and stuff like that. Looks like there's going to be some action up here. Rammus is going to be going after Vayne, but he is going to go ahead and get stunned into the wall. He's turned on his ghost, though, even though that little reflection is gone. And it looks like with the exhaust, Rammus is going to be able to taunt Vayne, and with the exhaust, that's a very dead Vayne. And so that's how they clean there. Meanwhile, Kennen gets flung by Singed and is able to stun Singed in return, so a little bit of back and forth going on there. I go ahead and drop a ward over here, and I see that, oh yeah, Warwick, I believe is at Wraiths. Maybe it was a Malzahar. I don't remember since I wasn't even looking at it. Oh, no, Ik is at Wraiths. So there's my missing W key. Picking up that Warwick is at Wraiths, and it looks like he's heading off towards red or golems, and then he's going to come pay a visit down here, as that just seems the most logical route. And if he tries to take any other route, he will be picked up either here or here. Which he'd have to visit bottom lane for that, unless he took, you know, this route back, but there's no blue buff here, so it'd be a very awkward route to go. I'm of course going to keep on maintaining my jungle, getting up to level 5 now, and I'm going to be looking to do something top, possibly, or not. I'm going to realize my health is low. Singed poison would dissolve me, so that is that. Meanwhile, Orianna doing a good job of dealing with the Malzahar, and of course dodging the Warwick, since he did take that predictable route. This is a little bit interesting because Malzahar is infamous for, once he gets a few levels, to just push the lane and dominate as far as how that goes, unless you deal with him early. But kind of being really scary with that command attack and so on, mana costs are nothing to her. She does only have that rebirth pendant and a mana potion, but she is rocking it like a boss. So good for her. Meanwhile, Rammus is saying that was his bad, so it looks like it says critical 14. I think that was the wolves hitting me over here. They would normally hit for 7. And Renekton's going to be stuck duoing, but I'm going to be coming down here, or looking to come down here. Realize that I can't do anything without that. And I'm going to be looking to take the enemy Wraiths, as I believe they're up. Though, oh, yep, they are up. And so, this is a little bit risky since I don't have vision of this bush. I don't know where Warwick is, but I'm going to be like, alright, I got this. And of course, you guys, if you just watched that last game, you saw me come down here and take golems since the red was missing, and I died horribly for it. And so, I'm getting asked to cover for Kennen. So I'm going to go ahead and say, alright, but I'm going to be a little bit getting there, since, you know, he is up here, and I was at the enemy red, and Ramus is saying, you know, Mal, let's get bot lane, but I'm going to have to cover for Kennen, who has just now started recalling. And so he wasn't really paying attention to that. But Ramus is definitely going after Vayne, but Vayne does go ahead and flash. But Taric gets taunted, and so he's going to go ahead and flash out. So now both of Vayne and Taric's flashes are now on cooldown. Don't know if Ramus's ghost is up yet. Taric has Fury, good for him. On the force now lane gets in, I'm going to burst him down. I do go ahead and get flung, but I don't really mind too much. And, step into the poison. That's always pretty bad. Meanwhile, of course, they stepped out, and so Renekton and Ramus are going to go ahead and get another kill. And so the tank and tanky DPS are going to go ahead and get a kill on the lane. Or just dominate the lane, I mean. You know, Orianna is now needing to cover on mid, as she wants to recall, as now she's had to use her mana potion. She's only got her regrowth pendant, and she just really needs to buy. I mean, Malzahar, he's gone boots of speed and 2 Dorns and 3 health pots, but Orianna's got 59 million kills at 10 minutes in the game. She wants to spend her money, and that's just logical. Me, I haven't really done too much outside of covering the lanes, donating blue buff. But at least I haven't fed any kills, so that's a big improvement over that. And Orianna's joking about how she almost killed Malzahar with a blue buff, and he escaped by a tiny bit, which does explain Malzahar's defensive instant picks of a double Dorn's Blade instead of, say, saving up for a Catalyst. Meanwhile, Renekton and Ramus are both trying to get a gank on this lane, but I don't think they're going to get it. Only because of being so stubborn on my last thing. Ramus did go ahead and turn on his Powerball, but Renekton started recalling up. Nope, Malzahar's going to go ahead and recall. So instead, Ramus is just going to go ahead and peek around, try to find a Warwick. Not going to find him, and so is he going to take the enemy race? Looks like that's going to be a no. As Orianna has returned to the lane, I'm going to go ahead and go back to blue to feed that to her. And we could probably do... I guess we can't do Dragon here, as the bottom lane is going to go ahead and get pushed by the Vayne Taric lane. But remember, they have no turret covering them, so whenever Renekton gets back, that will be a very scary setup. But first, Ramus is going to go ahead and try to taunt one of them under the tower. Taric is going to go ahead and throw out his stun after getting one auto attack onto Taric, which is going to give him that minion aggro and deal damage to him without that shield up, so he's going to take a fairly good bit of damage. And so, meanwhile, I've gotten blue buff to Orianna. Her pretty much every blue buff for our team, all 2 of them, and she has blue buff, a Catalyst to protect her, and a Philosopher's Stone, so she is just rolling in spammability as far as having nice cooldown reduction and infinite mana at this point in time. And I'm going to go ahead and tell bottom lane that I am going to go ahead and go down there, and we'll see exactly what all we can do for that. Ramus isn't powerballing. That's just something to notice, is that unless he powerballed from the fountain, he is should be off cooldown by now. He's going to go ahead and save it to powerball into their team. We'll keep an eye on this gank over here. Kennen looks fairly safe. Malzahar and Orianna are just dueling it out. Ramus has turned on his powerball, which does give him that increased move speed over time. He's going to go ahead and not quite hit the Taric with the powerball, which does imply slow, but it doesn't matter because because Vayne will in fact get left behind. Taric, caring for himself, is in fact going to go ahead and flash, as he is that scared. And so I'm going to go ahead and grab cloth armor and grab that chalice on that last back, and going to go ahead and possibly... Nope, the wraiths are in fact gone from the last time, so no Warwick is in the area. And going to go ahead and go for Dragon with Ramus and Maokai. Now, we don't exactly have the best DPS. I don't have Madrid's Razor. Ramus himself doesn't really have too much. And it looks like Warwick has in fact disconnected. That isn't a real disconnect. It wasn't a quit. But apparently, according to all chat, Ramus was asking if that was a rage quit, and Sinch said that yes, it was. So possibly he just did it that way, so I don't know. Is there less of a loss if you leave via a left versus a leave via quit? I'm not even certain if there's any relationship there. Meanwhile, Rammus was tanking it. He didn't really switch aggro until later, so he's really low. I'm, of course, just low on mana. I'm going to go ahead and lane over here versus Vayne. And I don't have any mana, so I can't do anything to her, as bursty as I am. I need mana for my combo, which would be 100 for the sapling toss, but even ignoring that, that'd be 80 and 55, which I can now afford. And so I'll be popping out against Vayne soon enough. Orianna is, of course, just overall pushing her lane. She's knocked her tower down, and so now we are about 2 towers to 0. I go ahead and pop out versus Vayne and do my full combo. But I think I missed the sapling or something. It landed in minions, and so I can't do anything. She's gonna be just fine, but Rammus is coming in, and so she has no turret to fall back to, so this could be a very dead Vayne in just a second here. She sees me coming in, Rammus gets sighted, and so now she's all freaking out. She goes ahead and tumbles, but instead of juking up top towards the Taric, she instead eats the taunt and dies terribly. And so now Taric is somewhere in this jungle. Malzahar is coming, and so we should escape through here, but nope, we're actually going to go ahead and actively look for him, as Rammus is fed, and by fed we mean an Aegis of the Legion, a Chain Vest, Boots of Speed, and a Dorn Shield. And of course Kennen's going to go ahead and call himself a winner, so apparently he's beating Singed in his lane. Malzahar is going to go ahead and get spotted with Taric. He was in the mid lane, but remember they have no turret here, and the Orianna ultimate is going to pick up that kill, and now Singed is going to go ahead and get wounded, and then slowed and taunted, and he is just not a happy camper over there. And now Kennen with his ultimate and auto attacks are going to go ahead and start doing work on this tower, but it looks like that, oh no, I'm going to go ahead and get fooled and suppressed, ulted by the Malzahar. And so I'm going to go ahead and go down, Renekton and Rammus are going to go ahead and get chased. I'm going to start oh no, she's going to go ahead and chase into this. Yeah, Rammus is going to go ahead and pick up the kill on Vayne at the expense of his own life. But that is a fairly decent exchange, as that will allow Kennen to do a little bit more pushing onto this lane. Oh, Malzahar is going to go ahead and eventually go cover that. And the team is overall going to fall back. And of course up, so I'm going to go ahead and get a very late Heart of Gold, giving me that extra health, and of course the gold, as I am not a lane Maokai in a normal game. So I'm not going to be able to farm the lanes, and so I'll be a little bit behind. By a little bit, I mean a fairly high number. Then again, it is, I guess, about a fair time to get a gold per 5 item. It's just really bad if you get it after the 20-minute mark, because it takes time to pay for itself. Although, if you get the item it turns into, it's not as bad. Meanwhile, of course, there's going to go ahead and be a little bit of debate about how good Triforce is on Vayne, and how after the nerfs to her a while ago, not so much, but still viable. And of course, I'm just joking around that Triforce and Phantom Dancer are really good on pushing towers with Alistar, but that's just a rumor I've heard. I've never actually gotten it on Alistar, but it's been suggested to me from a time I had a really good AP Alistar setup. Again, I don't know if I'm going to put that or not. Rammus is, of course, going to go ahead and eat tower shots, although he did have that shield up, giving him a bunch more armor and magic resistance. I don't know if that exchange was quite worth it. I did hear a ward go down, maybe a CV, and the CV is going to be right here, picking up Rammus, and so he's going to go ahead and back off. Now, I am expecting a dragon soon, I think. Guess not. Gonna go ahead and just drop a ward and run. I don't remember if I timed it or not. And Orianna is gonna go ahead and have the blue buff, rocking on with that. I'm gonna go ahead and go to the bottom lane since it is gonna be pushed. And Singed and Kennen are gonna be doling it out. Looks like there's gonna be Singed is confident. He has a ghost on, auto attacking Kennen, and a fling gonna go ahead and not hit, but oh no. Singed looks like he's going to be fairly low. Renekton, Rammus are going to pop up, especially with that taunt. Singed is going to go ahead and get picked off. Very ugly. And Taric's just going to be auto-attacking to give himself more mana, or more cooldown reduction, I should say, because he needs it. And not quite certain what he's doing there, unless he's baiting. but that is a very unconfident Tarek, as not only does he have clarity, but he also has a tier, and the 7.5 mana per level are, that's just a bit peculiar to me. Meanwhile, Malzahar is of course going to go ahead and poison me with his DOT. I'm going to go ahead and shake it off, and Aramis is asking, I don't know what he's saying. I thought he was saying that to the enemy team, but he's going to say that to our team. Renekton does have one debuff of Black Cleaver. There's Exhaust going to go down, but he's going to go ahead and die from Renekton. And Tarek's going to go ahead and try to flash out of the fight, but he's going to go down. And so it's just going to be Malzahar left. He's going to go ahead and fall back. Sin's just going to go ahead and try to cover it. And meanwhile, I'm going to be doing the best I can with my 103 attack damage. And try to take down this tower. Now this tower does have 79 armor. So that's 44% reduction. And I don't really have that much armor penetration. By that much, I mean 0. So I'm really only doing 63 damage, as you can see, to that tower. And so I'll be there for a while. Dragon did respawn, so we can't go into that later. But overall, we're doing fairly good, although Orianna did eat that Monster ultimate. Orianna was able to kill Singed at the expense of Kennen, and we were able to pick up the tower. Orvik is going to go ahead and reconnect to cover the bottom lane. And so we're going to go ahead and fall back with our tower gain and trade off. And you can see that it is fairly one-sided at the moment, at 16 kills for Team Purple and 4 kills for Team Blue. And we're going to go ahead and pick up this second dragon. Now we don't have vision of this top area, we only have vision of this bush area with a sapling of all things. But we're fairly confident. I do go ahead and get that last hit with the smite, and all is well in the world. Now this bottom lane is getting a little bit pushed by the blue team minions, so eventually this is going to have to be covered, although wait, possibly not, never mind, as that's the Cannon Rider wave. This is our Cannon Rider wave, although there is an excess of caster minions, and Warwick is going to go ahead and push that, so we will have to go back there. And I'm of course going to be feeling pretty good right now. I'm just going to go ahead and just say push, 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 like the new bot, because that is what I'm going to be doing all game, despite not having really any push items. And being the only guy negative on my team at 0-1-3. And so I'm just going to ask, where's Warwick? He hasn't seen him all game. I'm going to go ahead and ping that he was in the bottom lane. I'm going to go ahead and head over there to try to clear that wave. Renekton's also heading down there with the enemy red buff, I believe, as our red buff hasn't been taken yet, as my jungle Maokai is really not good at picking up those red buffs. I'm going to have to get more on the ball with that. And Orianna is, of course, going to be farming away without blue buff, but she doesn't really need it, as she does have a Rod of Ages and that Philosopher's Stone. And she's almost got her death cap over here, needing about 1,000 gold. Not certain how much gold she has at the moment. And she is top in the amount of last hits for this game, with Kennen close behind. The only person even coming close, and still 30 behind Kennen. And while all that's going on, I'm going to go ahead and slay Tarek with Renekton. Totally being oblivious there and just looking at the tab screen. I do go ahead and get the blue buff because of it. As I do not believe I took my blue buff has just respawned. And Renekton and me are going to go ahead and pick up poor Vayne, who we're not even going to see the final death animation of her, as she is going to go ahead and go into the Fog of War. Meanwhile, Singed is getting noted to be building straight magic resistance, so all we have to do is get Renekton to fight him. And speaking of Renekton, he is going to go ahead and pick up the kill with Orianna down there by the Wraiths. So now Singed is going to be like, I don't know what to do. I'm just going to go ahead and run into 2 of you. And Renekton's showing his stuff, getting 2 or 3 attacks. Not really able to do too much burst, but sustained. I can definitely see him tearing through a Singed compared to our AP casters. Speaking of Renekton, he did build a Hex Drinker to give him more MR, and he's going to be building a Wit's End and a Wriggle's Lantern, so he doesn't have as much damage as it looks like. He's actually building, of all things, magic damage, if that is turning to what like I think it is. And so, not the best, but Kennen coming in with his ultimate going to be able to clean up really well, get the triple kill there, and Renekton getting stunned stunned there. It looks like Tarek will in fact be able to escape, although there was an exhaust on that, exhaust and ignite on that Tarek. And so Kennen is going to go ahead and pick up the quadra kill. Maokai is of course going to be raging at this point in time and ask them to report Vayne for intentional feeding. And Ramses is going to go ahead and say, well, there was nothing really Vayne could do about it. And Maokai is going to go ahead and say caps intentional feeding. And so Maokai is apparently having inside information that Vayne was intentionally doing it. And Vayne's of course sending a rebuttal across the all chat and saying to report Mal's for a negative attitude. And so overall, lots of QQ going on there. Vayne actually saving my life there, possibly. I'm actually going to go ahead and flash out. And Ramses and Orianna are going to go ahead and dive back in and pick up the kill on Vayne. And so this dual tank setup seems to be working rather nicely. It's something I like, or I'm sorry, tank and off tank, as, I don't know, we're both building fairly straight tank as far as how that's going. We were going to go ahead and stop here, but Singe is going to go ahead and run ahead just to be annoying. And so I'm going to go ahead and drop saplings, and I actually probably could turn around and destroy him, but I'm a little bit concerned for my health. He does not have a Rod of Ages, he only has 24 AP, so maybe the poison wouldn't kill me, but again, it'd be a risk. And of course, I could just heal off of Sap Magic, and Sap Magic does, or is based off of his max HP, so still consider building HP on Maokai. Meanwhile, apparently Renekton has a beast amount of damage, and it's a very nice job on that, but he doesn't really have that much damage. He has Hex Drinker, which is a defensive attack item. It gives him 35 attack damage and magic resistance. Alright, so basically he has a little bit more than a BF sword in attack damage. Some lifesteal, some tankiness, and attack speed, and yeah, he's got nothing. I don't see how he has such beast damage. He only recently finished to that Wit's End, but no matter. Renekton's just, you know, doing a really good job nonetheless. And of course, Ramses is trying to offer pro tips to Vayne, and saying, you know, Vayne needs to get HP quints and use rolls and escape from now on. And she's saying, no, I'll stick with what I have. I'm of course going to go ahead and throw the sapling in for the vision on the bush, so Singe can juke, which means Singe is going to go ahead and just run straight away. It looks like he is going to go ahead and, with his ultimate on, with his ultimate on and Ghost, I should say, and he had like 5 or something move speed, but unless the taunt does hit, and so we are going to go ahead and catch up, and it looks like we are going to go ahead and pick up Singe, especially with that root, and down he goes from Kennen, although that did cost us a silly amount of damage. I'm of course going to go ahead and take the tower because it was so low, and go ahead and pick up that tower. At the same time, we're going to be giving up our first outer tower of the day to the bottom lane, although Orianna might be able to save it. Something to remember while we look at our team killing Maokai at the expense of me, and looks like even Worm's going to die from that. And Orianna able to kill both
an enemy has been slain.
Tarek and Vayne there by herself. Very interesting. I guess she caught them both in her ultimate. And of course, I'm going to go ahead and laugh and say worth it more for focusing the tank. And now we're just sort of having fun at this point. It's 29-6. We've got 2 inhibitors down. We're pushing onto this turret with Orianna. And we've got this game fairly in the bag. But something I really want to quickly say is that even if spectator mode isn't out, something that you can sort of figure out just from the tower differences, not even looking at kills, is that each tower taken is basically, oh, there's a surrender vote by Blue, go figure, but each tower taken is basically a 750 gold boost for that team, so I forget how much Dragon is worth, but it's up there, maybe like 1,000, almost, a little bit less, but that's the victory anyways. We fairly dominated that game. I didn't really do too much to that effort aside from just being around and keeping their jungler preoccupied early on, and I hope you guys liked it, and if you like like what you see, be sure to subscribe. This is Observious, signing out.